Gojo is a heavily debated character and for good reason, and in this video we'll see if the One Piece verse can handle Gojo. Here are the rules for this gauntlet. We'll put Gojo in the situation where he has been dropped into the One Piece verse, but he will have the most basic armament haki, so he can hit low Yayush, but no other One Piece exclusive abilities. Gojo will then go through each stage of the gauntlet with rest time in between. This keeps it fair for Gojo so it's not just an all-out war. Let's start by explaining what Gojo can do. Gojo is considered the strongest modern sorcerer in Jujutsu Kaisen. His strength comes from combining limitless curse techniques, 6 eyes, reverse curse techniques, and domain expansion. Limitless technique is Gojo's technique that was inherited through the Gojo clan. It allows him to manipulate space. A lot of his most famous techniques are just alterations of this. So the first technique is Infinity. Infinity essentially doesn't let anyone hit Gojo. The closer you get to him, the slower you go. He also would most likely have this technique on the whole time while fighting, so the only way to get through would be to bypass it. Next up we have Blue and Red technique. I'm grouping these up because they are basically just opposites of each other. For Blue, it pulls things toward it like a magnet, but much stronger, and Red is just the opposite, so it pushes with insane force. When Gojo combines Blue and Red, he gets Hollow Purple. Hollow Purple tears through everything in its path and is insanely destructive. The next ability of Gojo's is the 6 eyes. It's a physical trait passed down through the Gojo clan. The 6 eyes isn't a limitless technique, but they work together. 6 eyes allows Gojo to use almost no cursed energy compared to other sorcerers, and keep techniques like Infinity active for extremely long periods. Because of Gojo's 6 eye technique, he can use cursed energy really well. Now, when you multiply cursed energy by itself, you get positive cursed energy. This basically just allows you to heal yourself. This helps Gojo restore damaged organs, recover from severe injuries, and keep fighting after attacks that would normally end a battle. Now, this doesn't make him immortal. If Gojo can't heal fast enough, he will die, and if the attack is strong enough to kill him in one hit, it will. Gojo's last technique I'll talk about is his domain expansion. All domain expansions have a guaranteed hit on the opponent inside, but Gojo's specific domain expansion is called Unlimited Void. When you are trapped by Unlimited Void, you receive endless amounts of data all at once, and your brain can't process that. Now that we understand how Gojo's powers work, let's start the gauntlet. In round 1, Gojo will have to go against a Buster Call. A Buster Call consists of 10 battleships, 5 Vice Admirals, and lots of normal Marines. Gojo will defeat the Buster Call with all of his abilities, and his opponents won't even be able to lay a finger on him. This is because they cannot bypass his Infinity. Now, if Garp is one of the 5 Admirals, it might be a different story. Garp is the only Vice Admiral who has confirmed armament haki, or Ryuo. This allows the user to project their haki out of their body and hit without making contact. If Ryuo could bypass Infinity, Garp has the ability to win, but in practice, I think Gojo would trap him in his domain before Garp could attack. But this is if Ryuo can get through. I personally don't think it would, so Gojo would pretty easily defeat a Buster Call. The second round, we have Gojo fighting all the Admirals. This may seem like a harsh round too, but remember, Gojo is insanely strong. During this round, the Admirals have no way of getting through Gojo's Infinity if it weren't for Fujitora. Fujitora ate the Gravity Fruit, and his abilities might be able to harm Gojo. If Fujitora made a huge gravitational force under Gojo, it might be able to crush him. Now I say might because we don't know how strong Fujitora gravity can get, but for the sake of this video, let's say it's strong enough. Now I think this gives the Admirals a chance, but with Gojo's 6 eyes, he could process things extremely fast. He might be able to see that Fujitora is up to something, and once again, put him in his domain. He could then easily deal with the other Admirals with his basic armament haki. The third round is where Gojo might start to struggle. Gojo will be up against the 4 Emperors, so that's Luffy, Blackbeard, Crossguild, and Shanks. Crossguild, Blackbeard, and Shanks don't have any way of touching Gojo, but they could probably still slow him down. Gojo will have a tough time, but in the end, Crossguild, Blackbeard, and Shanks will lose. Now I know Blackbeard has a similar ability to Fujitora called Black Vortex, and he can pull Gojo toward himself, but this would just put Blackbeard in the range of Gojo's domain, so Blackbeard wouldn't use Black Vortex. Luffy is the only one of the 4 Emperors who could possibly kill Gojo. First, Luffy has been seen to move at the speed of light against Kizaru and has advanced observation haki which grants future sight. Therefore, Luffy could see Gojo's domain expansion before it happens and run out of range. Now for how Luffy will get past Gojo's Infinity, I think Luffy's Toon Force could allow him to do something to the space in between Gojo and himself. Now I don't know what this would be, but we have seen him grab lightning bolts and do other impossible things with Gear 5. I don't think it's out of the question that Luffy could maybe grab the space in between them and do something with it to negate Infinity, but it would be hard to say Luffy wins if we don't really have a reason. Because I don't have a real winner, for this round, we'll let Gojo continue, but I would like to see what you guys think Luffy could do in the comments. For the 4th round, we have the 5 Elders. Now there are 2 scenarios for this fight. The first is where Gojo loses because the 5 Elders are immortal, and Gojo would die of exhaustion or of old age because he has no way to deal with immortality. And the Elders have no way of bypassing Infinity. This is very boring, and to give Gojo a fighting chance, I will be giving him an advanced Conqueror's Haki. Now it isn't confirmed how to deal with Immortals yet, but Conqueror's Haki is almost definitely evolved. So for this video, I'll be saying strong enough attacks with advanced Conqueror's Haki will kill someone with immortality. Now that Gojo has advanced Conqueror's Haki, he'll have a much easier fight. The Elders have no way of touching Gojo that we know of. Now they would slow him down a good bit, but Gojo would win in the end. I think it would be a hard fought win, but the Elders can't lay a finger on him. Now finally we have Law. Originally I had Emu at the end of the gauntlet, but we don't know enough about him, and I think it'd be boring if the number 1 opponent couldn't touch Gojo. Law at the Op-Op fruit, and that means he can create a room where he has control over the things inside. This means Law can manipulate the space inside the room, but there is a limitation. Law's strongest moves require him to touch the opponent with his sword. Law's room is also bigger than Gojo's domain, so if Law just teleports outside of Gojo's range constantly, Gojo can't hit him with Unlimited Void. Now it's not guaranteed that Law can cut the space that Gojo's in, and Infinity may stop it, but I found another way that Law could win. If Law has an item next to him and positions his sword just in the right place, then switches Gojo in the item, the sword will make contact with Gojo, allowing Law's attacks to bypass infinity. So if Law's sword is right on Gojo's head and he uses Puncture Willy, it will one-shot Gojo and destroy his ability to heal himself because his brain is gone. This means Gojo will lose, but not before destroying almost everything.